reverse it.
So, Dallas, Mark says a little piece of paper doesn't define whether you're Aboriginal or not, but did you feel that it was a comment on your identity?
Well, yeah, it was. And as I said, I never used any of these services until my life went downhill real quick. And that was due to things that were out of my control. My wife having depression, my son and my foster parents and my real brother passing away. It's all in 1 year. I get hit with all this. So I've got to try and pick myself up, swallow my pride and go into one of these places. And then I've got all them people telling me, hey, no, we're going to tell you whether you're Aboriginal or not.
In spite of your appearance, have you always identified as Aboriginal?
What I find interesting about this conversation is if you've got a choice about it. When you grow up in a small country town, we didn't have choice about identity. We were that Aboriginal family. There's a couple of other people who went through the Andrew Bolt litigation, and that was probably the most offensive thing ever to happen in my life, where somebody from the outside questioned you. You know, I was raised by my mother and grandmother. My father was never, and his English never featured in my life, so my experiences are just that.
I grew up my whole life being Aboriginal, and my colour is not anything about my Aboriginality. My colour is something that was imposed through colonisation, and I am Aboriginal. And the sort of mention of the fact that, you know, Indigenous students going to university somehow don't need assistance is not right. Because what we're doing is the same thing that was done to us. We're judging each other by colour. It's not right.
No. You've got to ask yourself why Aboriginal people have to conform and comply to a definition of their being. It's something... Hang on. It's something that has been imposed on Aboriginal people right from the time of European occupation. And Mark hit it on the head before. People in powerful positions, such as shock jocks and people in media, they tend to have a field day trying to divide and rule Aboriginal people. That is, on the one hand, people that are what they regard as the real Aboriginal people, and people on the other side of the coin that are, you know, not dark, not noticeably Aboriginal. This is what we've got to stop. We cannot afford to get sucked in to this fighting amongst ourselves.
Simple solution.
We have learned some very, very bad habits from the coloniser. The weapons of the oppressor become the weapons of the oppressed, and we rip each other to shreds.
It seems to be this idea of skin colour and what you look like seems to be pretty divisive.
And I think it's deliberately set up that that's the way it is. I mean, who gets to determine who is Aboriginal? And I think once you actually start to speak to people, whatever the way, or however they look, it's how they've lived their life. I mean, I have seen my family be spat at. When I grew up, I was the albino bung. Like, there is absolutely a lived experience that comes with Aboriginality, and that is not predicated on skin colour, and yet we're all out here saying, oh, but you, looking whiter than me, have had a more privileged existence than me. And I rally against that understanding, because we are Aboriginal by definition because of what's been imposed, but it's also because of the way other people have treated us and our families.
So it's a very convenient definition for some too.
For who?
Aboriginality is a cultural construct. We make it. We define it.
Three issues that have collided in this conversation. The first one is about identity, the second one is about heritage, and the third one is about needs. Let's go to the first one about identity. I've been working in Aboriginal affairs for nearly 40 years. I've seen Aboriginal people of all sorts of colours, but who are incredibly proud of their identity. That is a construct of self, not of anybody else. It's yourself. Right. Your identity is a spirit, a set of values, a force which informs your decisions, which is a product of story and of journey immersed in our identity. That is something the government can never give you.
That's right.
No organisation can give you that. your family, your community, yourself give you that identity. The second question is about heritage. Now, I've known people that have had conversations with me that said, Shane, I'm not Aboriginal, but I grew up in West Wyalong, and I think if I go back far enough, I'm sure I'd be able to find. Why aren't I Aboriginal? And I'm saying, and my response to them was, that might be part of your heritage and you should be very proud of it, just as I'm very proud of my mother's English heritage. They can be very proud of their Aboriginal heritage, but it is not their identity. It is not that story and journey which informs their decisions.